We often view a high IQ as a universal advantage. Society treats a powerful brain as a guarantee of success and social ease, an engine capable of navigating any obstacle without friction. But for many, the reality is a quiet struggle. High intelligence frequently correlates with severe social anxiety and a deep, persistent sense of loneliness. These individuals often desire deep, meaningful relationships, yet in a room full of people, they find themselves feeling entirely alienated, unable to find a common frequency with those around them. It raises a difficult question. Why does a mind built to process the world with incredible clarity often freeze up during a casual conversation? Exceptional processing power comes with a psychological cost. To understand why brilliance leads to isolation, we have to map the specific glitches that occur within an overactive mind. An intelligent mind rarely rests. It treats social interactions like a complex simulation, constantly anticipating outcomes and evaluating risks in real time. This node represents a single interaction, but for the analytical brain, it is immediately splitting into dozens of what-if pathways. This post-interaction loop, rumination, is an obsessive review of every perceived mistake. When the mind loops back on these pathways repeatedly, it suffocates the original experience. This internal dialogue transforms natural introversion into intense, exhausting social anxiety. This is compounded by perfectionism. Those who have always succeeded academically or professionally often develop an intolerance for failure. They apply these impossible standards to their social lives. Every sentence must be insightful. Every response must be flawless. This creates a massive fear of any social interaction that cannot be perfectly controlled. To avoid the risk of sounding foolish or making an imperfect comment, many simply self-censor. They choose silence and withdrawal as a way to protect their sense of competence. In the realm of human connection, these analytical strengths become barriers. Perfectionism and overanalysis serve as defensive walls that prevent authentic relationships from forming. Beyond the thoughts themselves, there is a physiological component. Psychologist Kazimir Dabrowski identified overexcitabilities as a core trait of the gifted brain. Look at the difference in perception here. On the right, the brain is picking up on microscopic shifts in tone, microexpressions, and subtle changes in language that others miss entirely. This constant flood of subtle data makes modern social environments, like a crowded party or a busy office, feel like sensory overload. The individual retreats into solitude to protect themselves from this exhaustion. This withdrawal is often mislabeled as coldness. It is actually a necessary self-defense mechanism against a nervous system processing too much information. Intelligence is not an inescapable condition of loneliness. It is a high-powered tool that simply requires a different form of calibration to interact with the world. Historically, figures like Albert Einstein utilized total isolation to drive their scientific breakthroughs. But for most, a life of total solitude is not the goal. We need a way to bridge the gap between brilliant thought and human connection. The same mind that isolates itself to invent, like Nikola Tesla's, can be retrained. The key is understanding how to manage the brain's internal data processing. Developing emotional intelligence allows the brain to filter information differently. Instead of analyzing every micro-expression as a potential data point or threat, as Alan Turing might have, we learn to prioritize the core emotional signal over the background noise. Mindfulness and grounding techniques act as a circuit breaker for those spikes in overexcitability we saw earlier. By focusing on physical sensations, we can manually interrupt the rumination loop before it spirals into anxiety. Connection also requires embracing social imperfection. Vulnerability builds trust more effectively than intellectual precision ever could. This often means seeking out niche communities where complex discussions are the norm, rather than trying to fit into superficial social structures. Understanding the specific mechanics of an overactive mind allows for a deliberate shift. Emotional insight provides the balance needed to navigate the world without retreating from it.